He was just trying to enjoy the parade. 78-year-old Harold Hal Carter sat near the back of the town square, hunched over slightly in his tattered beige coat. On his chest, a row of medals shimmered faintly under the gray morning sun, catching just enough light to glint, but not enough to impress. At least not to the group of teens nearby. One of them laughed, loudly. "Yo, look at that guy! Who does he think he is? Walking around like some kind of war hero." The others chuckled, nudging one another, pointing at Hal. Hal heard them. He always heard them. The year was 2023, and the small town of Newbridge, Missouri was holding its annual Veterans Day parade. Families lined the streets with flags and folding chairs, waving and smiling at the passing floats. Hal didn't usually come to events like this anymore. His legs weren't what they used to be, and crowds made him nervous, reminded him of other kinds of marches, in other countries, long ago, but this year he felt a tug he couldn't ignore. Maybe it was the dream he'd had the night before. Maybe it was the letter he received last month, the one written in shaky handwriting from the son of a man Hal had once dragged out of a burning jeep in Vietnam. Maybe it was loneliness. Whatever it was, it got him out of the house. He arrived early, found a quiet spot near the edge, and waited. But quiet wasn't what he got. The teen's voice rang out again, louder now. "Bet those medals are fake. You can buy that junk on eBay." Hal didn't move. He stared straight ahead, eyes glassy. His knuckles, resting on the handle of his worn wooden cane, whitened slightly. A woman nearby gave the teen a disapproving look, but said nothing. No one said anything. And that hurt more than the boy's laughter, because once there was a time when the crowd stood for him. Not for applause, but because he was the last one off the chopper. Because he was carrying a man with half his leg gone. Because he never stopped running until they were both behind the wire. Back then, people didn't question his medals. They didn't laugh at his limp. But that was a lifetime ago. Now he was just the old guy with dusty medals. Then something shifted. A black SUV pulled up just beyond the parade route. A tall man in full-dress uniform stepped out, crisp, decorated, commanding. The moment he appeared, murmurs swept through the crowd. "That's General Weston," someone whispered. "4-star." People stood straighter. Parents hushed their kids. Even the teens, especially the one mocking Hal, went quiet. The general walked slowly, with intent, scanning the crowd as if looking for someone. And then he saw Hal, without a word. General Weston changed direction. He stepped off the paved route. He walked past the parade marshals, past the families, past the decorated stage, and he headed straight for Harold Carter. The teen took a step back, confused, almost afraid. The general stopped in front of Hal. The two men locked eyes. A pause. Then the general did something that would be remembered by everyone who saw it. He came to attention and saluted. Not a casual nod, not a friendly wave, a full, formal military salute, sharp, proud, precise, and he held it. Hal, stunned, took a breath. His trembling hand reached up and returned the salute. Silence fell across the square. A second later, the general turned to the crowd and said, with his voice ringing through the space, "This man is Sergeant First Class Harold Carter, Vietnam, 101st Airborne. 3 Bronze Stars, 2 Purple Hearts. He is the reason I became a soldier," gasps echoed. Some clapped, some covered their mouths. The teen? He froze, eyes wide, face pale. And slowly, awkwardly, he took off his cap. One by one, people rose, no band, no music, no prompting, just people. Standing. For a man who had once carried others when he could barely carry himself. Later, when the parade was over, and the general had long since disappeared into his SUV, the teen approached Hal. He didn't say much, just sat next to him for a moment, then quietly asked, "Can I help you get to your car?" Hal nodded. They walked slowly, one leaning on a cane, the other carrying the weight of a new understanding. That night, someone posted a photo of the general saluting Hal. It went viral. But Hal never saw it. He didn't need to, because for the first time in decades, he felt seen. Some moments don't need applause. Some heroes don't wear capes, they wear scars. And sometimes it takes the silence of a crowd rising to remind us who we should have been standing for all along. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect. Share it with someone who needs a reminder that kindness, courage, and respect still matter. And if you have a story like this, of quiet strength, of unexpected justice, of someone standing when no one else would, drop it in the comments. We might just tell your story next. Subscribe for more stories that matter, because sometimes one image is all it takes to change a heart.